Today we will encounter a home that has witnessed both devout belief and tortuous persecution. Ghostly shadows, invisible hands, dramatic temperature changes and watchful eyes all lie in wait at Smithills Hall. With parts dating back nearly 700 years, the hall and its surrounding parkland dominate much of the northern approach into Bolton's town centre. The Grade 1 listed building is held in close affinity by locals, and rightly so, as more than one family can claim this as their ancestral home, whilst extensions and modifications in both Tudor and Victorian times saw the hall grow in both size and stature. Sold to the borough in the 1930s, it housed an elderly ladies' residential home in the 60s and 70s and now acts as a museum. The direct contrast between Smithills' noble west wing and desolate east wing was tangible to all of Most Haunted's crew as soon as we entered the hall. With peace and warmth in one half, yet chilling starkness just down the corridor, we wondered which of these moods we'd encountered tonight.
Part of the building goes back to 1335. And the three main families that are concerned with the place are the de Radcliffes, the Bartons and the Ainsworths.
These stairs have had their fair share of hauntings. Many people have reported being touched by unseen hands. Could it be the ghost of a woman wearing a 7th century dress? This is the bower room where many people have experienced a strange presence many times. Also the smell of burning wood has been experienced.
We had some children in about a fortnight ago who saw something which nobody else has seen before, which was a little girl upstairs, and the teacher who was with them found it quite frightening, and in fact reported back to me the following day that she hadn't slept all night. So it obviously was a frightening experience for them.
It is thought that a chapel has been on this site since Saxon times, and with all the many different changes that have occurred here over the years, it's not surprising that many people consider this place as being extremely haunted. A lady in grey has been seen sitting in the front pew, and a lone figure has been seen kneeling at the altar, and many people have experienced being touched by unseen hands on many different occasions.
Probably the best ghost story of all is the story of George Marsh. He was an itinerant vicar. He was a Protestant at the time of Mary Tudor, Bloody Mary. She, of course, wanted everyone to go back to the Catholic faith. George Marsh was tried here and sentenced as a heretic. And, of course, the sentence in those days for heresy was to be burnt alive at the stake.
Other people have experienced things in the hall as well, particularly, for example, somebody who looks a little bit like George Marsh in a number of places, in the chapel, in the shop area, on the stairs. Some people have experienced doors closing unexpectedly, ropes swinging in the library, shuffling footsteps down the corridor, and most of these people have been people who were not expecting to experience them.
George Marsh was taken downstairs, and as he got to the bottom of the staircase, he stamped his foot on the flagstone floor and said that his footprint would remain there as an eternal reminder of his martyrdom. And to this very day, there is an imprint of his foot still on the flagstone floor. In the 1870s, obviously a different family, the Ainsworth family were here then. They had the slab removed from the house. They actually took it out here and left it in the grounds. A phenomenal amount of poltergeist activity started taking place inside the house. And so eventually they brought the stone back, replaced it in the same spot, and guess what? All the paranormal activity stopped.
Here in the George Marsh room, many people have seen the figure of a tall, dark man floating across the floor. Sudden and extreme temperature drops occur here, and many people, when they enter this room, feel ill at ease. But why? We have 24 hours to find out. George Marsh's is a tale that may or may not hold truth, and parapsychologist Kieran O'Keefe certainly has his views on this Smithills story.
I think the footprint is a fabulous story, but clearly it's impossible to actually make a footprint merely by stepping onto the stone or even standing with a great force. You just couldn't do it. However, it creates kind of a great urban myth, if you will, and when there are visitors to this particular location, it kind of enters their psyche, even if they're not moved by the story or even believe in the story, because of where the footprint is, because of the protection that's around it, it immediately enters their psyche and they're thinking about it wherever they go in the location, and it will have an effect on the experiences that they have. Another area that I'm particularly interested in is the chapel. There have been quite a few different sightings of apparitions, both kneeling down praying, near the altar for example. But what intrigues me most about this location is the phenomena associated with the glasses in one of the rooms. The staff have reported that the glass moved, they may upturn when they return to them in the morning. So what we will do this evening is actually set up a laptop and a camcorder and have the table where the glasses are locked off for the entire duration of the investigation.
Also, lots of reports of dramatic drops in temperature here. So presumably you're going to have all your equipment out in several different rooms.
Yes, definitely. I'll be definitely doing baselines today to look at drop in temperature. Already a few people have reported that they felt cold draft, they felt definite cold spots. So I'll be doing the baselines, comparing that actually spontaneously as we're walking around and having vigils. And yeah, trying to get an objective measure of any temperature drops or temperature increases.
So Kieran clearly intends an all-out assault on this building's claims of supernatural phenomena. We can also keep a regular eye on the glasses that form part of the parapsychologist's trigger object experiment. And with both Derek Okora and David Wells now on site, our spiritualist mediums could begin their readings of this highly contrasting property. Both beautiful and barren, what does lie in wait at Smithills Hall?
As we're coming up these steps now, I am very aware of movement. A good, sensitive spirit lady, but with her comes the taint of sadness. That sadness envelopes me here now.
What time period would you say she was from?
1595, and then I shoot way forward into 1716. So that tells me that there are two females that actually walk here.
Any names with them?
Can you get me names of those, Sam? One's most definitely Margaret. Mm-hmm. Can you give me the other lady, please? I'm not really certain whether it's Isabella or Isabel.
Right.
But I feel they're the two names
Okay.
that come here.
Do you want to go up?
Yeah. As I'm coming up again, I'm aware of screaming and wailing, but in different parts of this building. The groups of elderly people, again, not just up here, but to do with this building. There had to be, at some point here, where there was a caring aspect in and around this site, this building.
So you're saying this squealing and wailing is because of the way they were treated?
I believe so, yes. Or not treated properly, not cruelly, but were left for periods where maybe they should have been spoken to. Are you okay?
Ignored, you mean?
Ignored.
Right.
And of course, we know what, even presently, what elderly people can be like.
What period of time are you talking about?
18 something, or even I'm not really certain about this. 19, whatever, forward in
Victorian
time.
type.
Yes,
Victorian
times. There's someone that's a voice. No, that's not from the residual energy. It's like, not a priest, but when a priest is doing sermon, or a man of the cloth, and he repeats something, and I get this, and the word was martyrdom, martyrdom, or sounding like that.
So from two kindly but unconnected female spirits to a male energy, seemingly content with his belief. But why is so much anguish also attributed to this man? This is 1 centuries-old secret that Smithills Hall cannot forget.
This isn't the time now to be panicking, because if I do, I don't know where to run.
most haunted home for the day is this Lancastrian manor house, Smithills Hall. We do know that some of these rooms date as far back as 1335, but this is also a home that has since generated a whole host of tales that may well account for its modern-day reports of paranormal activity. Derek's attention has been drawn away from two astral ladies to a man with an intense religious belief. And as we were about to discover, it was these same beliefs that forced him to an early grave.
As I come here into this atmosphere, I feel as if I just want to escape from this room. Here, on that side, when I come to this section here, it's a reflection of spirit people sitting there. And it's like they're viewing and they're listening to everything that's going on. Then I get another person who seems to be hell-bent on trying to get someone to submit. You will say what I want you to say. And there's this cruelty, and it's in this area. And it's as if someone's got me and they've got me down. And they're telling me what to say and to submit. I get the name George. His energies fired up. I will stand resolute. They will not break me. They have not got the strength of my will. But they damaged, they hurt, and they cruelly tried to break my spirit. They will not. That was what I was thinking before. What that person was saying of the clergy, of martyrdom, martyrdom. He would experience his resolute pact with his faith.
Was he killed here?
I don't feel that his life's blood was lost here. I just don't feel that. I feel as if maybe he was taken away. I'll say it. Thank you. Something that is stated about this good man. There's something here that soul knows it's not so about him, and it's something to do with lower region, something down there. Does not belong to him, has got no association with him.
Right.
It is a myth.
So, had we found an answer to Smithills' most fascinating account? No one truly knows if the tale of George Marsh's indignant footprint is indeed fact or fiction. But what is known is that this Protestant curate was taken to Chester, where he was unmercifully burnt at the stake. In a hall that appears extremely active on every level, we head to the crumbling east wing that was once a care home to elderly ladies.
Okay, right. Again, we come into this area. I don't know whether it's these windows here. I'm guessing whether it's one of these two spirit ladies that have linked in this building, or whether it's another separate spirit lady. But it seems as if drawn to these windows, as if I'm, just taking the place of the spirit person and just looking through. I wouldn't be at all surprised whether that spirit lady has been seen through the windows, quite clearly.
Who would she have been then?
I don't feel those two that we got on the lower level. I'm getting a light-haired young lady, most definitely in service, or she was maid, or she certainly wasn't of high position.
Okay.
She's not found her peace, she's not found her calm, because maybe the manner in which she lost her life.
Mm-hmm. And when would that happen, do you think?
I'm coming forward with this young lady to about 1800 and something.
Right.
Yeah. Person with a vivacious sort of personality, laughing, joking, a good soul. But when she came out of her physical body and she realised she was of the ethereal body, that personality changed a bit. And when she comes round and what have you, she could be probably heard, screaming or shouting with anger.
Right.
Only purely simply because the reality she didn't have a full life.
It's a shame, isn't it? What's her name?
Rose.
Rose.
Fletcher.
Oh, right, that's great.
Rosemary Ann Fletcher. Well, 1884.
Right, 1884.
There was something radically wrong in the front part of her body here.
Is that what you think she died from?
Yeah.
And she's active in this particular area?
I feel she moves about in this top area, yeah.
Okay.
Throughout Derek's reading, we were also constantly checking the green room for Kieran's trigger object test. These glasses are often thought to move without the aid of human hands. So far, his motion detector remained silent. We were though now very keen to see what else lay hidden here, and no sooner had David Wells entered the building than another recent and residual spectre came storming into his consciousness.
This feels... It's kind of like all this part. There's one male. There's a religious feel as well about this whole area. But he's running up and down as if he's on fire.
What, was he burned, involved in a fire?
The actual individual I'm seeing is presenting initially on fire, so his body is on fire, so I suggest that he was burnt for witchcraft or... Do you know what I mean? He was burnt because of his faith. He was burnt because of his beliefs.
When this happened to him, when he was burned for his beliefs, how old would you say he would have passed over?
Maybe late 30s, early 40s, so he doesn't seem particularly old.
And you know I'm going to ask you for a name.
So I'm going to go for George, because we get Georges. Okay. And he's got quite an obvious nose. It's like a button nose. You know, it's like quite big with a bulbous bit on the end. He's actually losing his hair for that age as well. Seems to be losing his hair. He's not extremely tall. He's probably about here. And he's not exactly fat, but he's not exactly thin. He's kind of rounded.
And is he present here amongst us now that you're talking about him, or?
He's around. I would say he's more out here than he is in this particular room at the moment. But I think this room is significant to him because it's where he led me to.
So it sounds a visual sort of thing.
Absolutely.
David's imagery of a man on fire and his fierce Protestant belief under Catholic rule is indeed significant in a room dedicated to George Marsh. And bearing this in mind, I was particularly interested to hear David's reading in the ancient chapel inside Smithills Hall, an area rife with the apparition of a ghostly congregation.
So who's in here?
I've got one figure at the altar, trying to make up my mind whether he's a priest or a monk. So he's right where this cross is. He's here, kneeling here. I feel as if, as I'm sitting here, I'm being watched.
By him?
I'm very conscious of a congregation behind me. I'm getting a feel for who he is, so I think he would have led this congregation at some point. I think he definitely, either people see him coming down this central aisle, kneeling here, but I suspect they will see him as a classic dark shape.
And when would he have been here, do you think?
It seems about the same period, maybe slightly earlier, maybe 1500s even. But this site feels a place of devotion, but it doesn't feel specific. So it doesn't feel Catholic, it doesn't feel Protestant, it doesn't feel Wicca.
It's quite interesting that you say that, because upstairs you were saying it was very Catholic, that you'd got that feel, and yet we come down here and there isn't a strong indication of which religion it is.
That's true, but right on this spot I feel very non-secular. I feel very at peace here. As I look out into the congregation area, I'm very aware of one woman here, again from that time period, 16th, 17th century, very elaborately dressed. I'm very aware of, in that seat there, just here, I think it's this guy here that he shifted, so he may have moved.
The priest or the monk, right.
The priest or the monk there. They seem to be the two dominant ones, but there is another something in here. This one is a skeleton.
And where are you seeing it?
Just over about 1, 2, 3, 4 pews back. It would describe to me, I think, someone who's recently passed. The recent thing, you know.
Can I just get the specific locations?
So it's 1, 2, 3, no, back again. That row there you're in now.
This one here?
Yeah, right towards that very end. So you're about there.
So right over
So you're
here.
seeing a skeleton where Kieran is now?
Again, it's in my mind's eye. So whether there's somebody who still sits there who's recently gone across, I'm only talking in the last few years, couple of years to 5 years, a female.
Although this chapel is still in fortnightly use, staff and unsuspecting visitors are often shocked to discover that not everyone seen in these pews has a right to be there. Replays of people praying are regularly reported, but who are the residual parishioners that refuse to leave this shrine? Some of us knew in advance of the East Wing's association with elderly inhabitants, and I found it intriguing that David felt compelled to enter a small room that only we knew was once used as a...
Here, or lots of astrals want to have a nose and say and speak to me. I mean, the wallpaper's quite modern, so maybe it was something like a first aid room or something like that. It's maybe a room where people died.
Where people died?
Yeah. You know, it feels head-spinningly astral to me, and I know that many people will understand exactly what I say because if they're working in those fields. But when you have a lot of astral activity, someone like myself around, it can make you feel slightly dizzy. There's that element to it as well. But that's something that only someone who was sensitive or had worked on it, I think, would possibly feel.
Richard, I think maybe we can sort of shed some light on why, of why David's feeling this way.
It's absolutely right. This place was a rest home for old ladies for at least 10 years, probably longer. And you almost hit the nail on the head because obviously a lot of them died and they were obviously put in here afterwards. They refer to it as a morgue, which is of course American name, but what would happen is that after they died, I presume they would be here and they would be put laid to rest here for their families to come and view them.
That's a classic time also for the astral beings to visit the body, particularly at that point, because especially if they've just passed, the family coming to see them, you know, from my perspective, how else would they know what the family was saying to them but to stand beside them and listen?
Yeah. Right, I see.
Yeah.
So that feeling of claustrophobia makes perfect sense.
And the family thing. So that's a good thing for people who have just recently lost someone or who lose people. Still talk to them, because until the body is officially disposed of, they will hear you particularly.
Right. Belief and betrayal abound in Bolton, but just how long would Smithills' air of reverence remain, and who would push their luck too far?
Let's just stay here for now.
Most Haunted's 13th century base is Smithills Hall in Bolton, a home that has witnessed its fair share of intrigue and perhaps best known for its part in the trial and execution of a Protestant martyr under Mary Tudor's Catholic reign. We were intrigued by what David had picked up psychically in the East Wing, an area currently utilised for mundane office work, but as we now know, one that used to house a morgue. Cue Rachel, Joe, Ian and programme editor Scott to start our night vigils.
If there's anyone here, please could you give us a sign? Could you show us that someone is around us or in this atmosphere?
I just heard a woman's voice. Really?
Like talking?
Yeah, just casual chit-chat.
Oh, no. Is there someone here in this room with us?
I can feel this just draft there on the back of my neck now.
Is there somebody trying to communicate with us? Please? I heard it again, talking.
The sound of a female voice is a previously unreported occurrence in the hall, and one that still remains unexplained. The cellar is one part of this contrasting and chilling property that isn't usually associated with supernatural phenomena. But its narrow chambers did seem an ideal way to let another of our edit team sample life in the dark. Matt, David, John and myself were already a little nervous.
Do you sense anything?
I don't sense any individuals.
We don't mean...
What's that?
What? What's that?
That was a rattling door, wasn't it?
Is that door there? It sounds like a door.
It was like someone was rattling the door, wasn't it?
Oh, it does sound just like it, doesn't
That was
it?
the sound of it, yeah. Rattle it.
Yeah, definitely. That is definitely it.
Let's just go in, have a look. I'll get the torch ready because I'm scared.
is weird. There's certainly nothing in here that could have made the door rattle.
With every other crew member confined to our first floor crew room, we were all perplexed at the loud, almost anger-fueled banging just yards away. Could this be some kind of poltergeist energy or a spirit that wanted our attention? Intent on exploring every avenue, we send another group back into the drab and desolate East Wing. With Rachel previously sensing something in here, help was at hand in the form of Richard and Stuart.
The only one good thing about it is it's warm.
This is massive, this place. It just goes on and on.
It's getting colder now. I don't like corridors.
No one likes corridors, does
I really don't.
What was that then?
That was me then.
No, bollocks to that. I'm on about down here. What was that then? What was that then?
We want you to talk to us.
Come on, you lousy do something.
Polite to us, Stuart.
Well, no, I don't want to be polite. I know I should do as a rule, but at the end of the day, sometimes you actually got to give them a bit of a kick, haven't you? In order to get things done. If you're here, make a sound, come on.
Kitchen. Little kitchen. Let's just stay here for a minute.
Oh my god!
What's closed now? I can't see.
This door.
Shit.
Why would it suddenly slam like that? It wouldn't slam like that.
Well, let's just...
Doesn't Richard? You have to push it. Look.
Oh, gosh. Now, the other thing is, there is a draft because there's an open window.
Yeah, but it's not
Where's the
Here.
open window?
Feel the draft.
I don't like it.
Right? But that's...
Oh, there is a draft.
It
there,
is,
isn't there?
but it's not really enough.
Oh no, it's not
to
enough
blow
to...
that door.
There's
No.
no way in the world that's enough to blow that shut. The thing is, I wasn't terrified. None of us ran away.
No, it made us jump.
None of us screamed. I think I swore. But I think we've kind of just debunked anything that maybe Kieran would come up with because we brushed apart. I just saw a shadow going down there.
Where?
Down there.
You didn't.
Down there.
What's down here?
We're back, that's our way back.
No, but if you go straight
Yeah, but you've
down,
got
there's
you've got the
down
morgue.
there.
What's going on?
You alright, kid?
That scared me.
What was it?
I don't
Something
know.
down there, there's a
But
noise.
these panels, if you walk on them, it makes that noise.
Shit.
This is horrible.
Kenna, you scared me then. Come on, let's go and have a look.
Stay in the middle, kid.
Shit.
Please, it's not gonna-
Right, there's a step coming up here.
You pissed it off by swearing at it.
Come on, if there's somebody up here with us now, do more for us. Slam this door like you did before.
Have I annoyed you? Have I upset you through swearing? Good. If that's the case, do some more. Do you not like it when people swear? Shall I swear?
Yeah.
Come on, you show yourself, do something. We don't care. Come on, you show yourself, do something. We don't care. Come on, you show yourself, do something. We don't care.
What is this? Where is it? Is it coming? It's coming from down here.
Coming from the next one down. But it's
Come on, do something. Do something else. Make a sound up here. Close the door again.
What's that?
We're not frightened of you, you shits.
The group's attempts to find a rational explanation failed to clarify the cause of this phenomena. With no human visibly close enough to slam the door shut and no drafts apparent, we were convinced something strange was going on the first floor. Now positive that Smithills had more to offer than Tudor decor and Victorian antiquities, we all felt more determined. So in separate groups, we headed off to hopefully make contact with the supposed spirit. Ian took programme editors and first-time investigators Matt and Scott into Lady Ainsworth's room. Derek led a group into the cellar, and that left everyone else in the green room, apart from Stuart, who had chosen to face the entire East Wing, all on his own.
Can see nothing. You get the sense as though you're being watched. Is there anyone in this room with me that wishes to communicate? If so, please do so now. Ah! Shit! I've just heard something in... Hang on a minute. I've just heard something in one of the rooms. I'm not going back in there. It sounded to be a groan. It sounded like, oh... I don't know what that was now. I've just heard a footstep. It sounded to be a groan. It sounded like, oh... I don't know what that was now. I've just heard a footstep. I don't know what that was now. I've just heard a footstep. Hello? Is anyone there? This isn't the time now to be panicking, because if I do, I don't know where to run. Ah! Help. Help me. Someone help me. The door's just closed. If you didn't hear it, the door's just slammed closed. Is there anyone there? I'm gonna have to go back out now to see what's happened. Hello? 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 Is anybody there? Oh. The door's closed. The door's opened. I don't know what's behind the door.
Well, here with the most respect, we just want some proof of your existence. Make any sound at all. Hello?
That has got to be a person. There is no way that was...
Right, okay. Okay.
That was two... all three of us just heard solid footsteps there.
So it could have been here. It didn't sound like it was as far as the shop. No, because it was on hard floor, it was here. Was it literally like...
Yeah, as if
I thought somebody was coming through.
I know, I did. As
Towards
if
us,
they
yeah.
were going to come in here. We've only got a couple of minutes left. Please, just before we go, could you give us some sort of sign?
Sam, my guide, will normally give me an indicator that there is someone, even if they're masking themselves, covering themselves up, that there is someone around and local. Sam is yet to do that, and I trust his opinions on things. So that, again, we're talking about, as boring as it may sound, quite base.
So Sam could tell you that there was someone masking themselves. He couldn't tell you who they were or what they were.
No, he would generally...
but
yeah.
he would know that there was somebody.
Yeah, and of course, they can even mask themselves from Sam. In other words, if it's not forthcoming, sometimes he would know, other times he doesn't. It depends on the effort put in by that spirit person. If the spirit person really wants to cover themselves up, even to the spirit guide, they can do that.
Please try really hard to communicate with us. I know you're here, you're around us.
Is there someone in the room?
I feel... all I can see are his eyes watching us. Just trying to get those two pairs of eyes. Let me just see if I can bring them closer. If you're here, please tap the table.
Temperature dips around my hands and around my top. That's all.
So your hands are actually, they look slightly hotter, to tell you the truth.
So when you said that temperature difference, I felt I got, my hands felt like they were getting cold, but the top of my body felt cold as well. Obviously not.
He may have felt a chill surrounding his hands and chest while sat in the green room, but the red patches of heat on Kieran's thermal imaging camera contradicts Carl's claims. But later on, the same camera did offer a major topic of debate. And with the astrals seemingly stirring all over the house, you can rest assured that yet more mayhem did lie in store at Smithills Hall.
I don't know what's behind the door. Hello? Please don't hurt me. I'm not here to harm you.
Welcome back to Smithills Hall, a former Lancastrian manor house that is literally crawling with Most Haunted's investigative team. We were doing our utmost to cover every corner with simultaneous vigils in the cellar as well as the multitude of rooms on the first floor. But the biggest incident so far had come in the derelict East Wing, where Stuart had heard a door slam shut 2 rooms away, and having reached this door, he now had to reveal what lay behind it.
I don't know what's behind the door. Hello? I feel as though I can't go on anymore. I can't do this. Hello? Please don't hurt me. I'm not here to harm you. I'm sure I've just seen something outside. What the hell was that? That window that the camera's pointing at, something went across there. Should I go any further? I don't want to go any further. I don't want to go any further. I don't want to go any further. Hello, is there anybody here? Was that you that closed the door? Please don't do anything like that again, because you scared me. I'm not here to harm you. I was only joking before. I was joking as well. I didn't expect anything. I'm going back to the crew room. I can't stick this out anymore. I'm going to have to go.
Stuart later told us of the terrifying ordeal that, as we can see from the collected footage, left him very close to tears. And his experience appeared to signal the end of our night of strange phenomena. However, the vigil featuring David, Kieran, Carl and myself had moved into the bower room, and having now seen Stuart's account of figures by the window, we have to ask what we had also just seen.
I don't know, I thought I just saw a shadow on these stairs just then. Can you move your camera around? What are you just doing, John?
I was doing that.
Right, well you're doing it now and I'm not seeing anything on the stairs. I thought I saw a shadow sort of going up there, but then it could have been anything. It was a corner of my eye, so...
Do you know what I heard? It sounded like, I know it was, it sounded like a gust of wind, but a really strong gust of wind. But I've just looked at the trees and everything out there, and there's nothing. There's no movement.
No. No, it's out there. It's still.
If there's anyone in this room who'd like to contact us, any astrals, any spirit beings, please make yourself known.
Did you just breathe then? Did you hear like a bell? No, that was a clock, but did you just sigh?
No.
No.
I heard that from my left. I heard a...
Really? From your left?
Yeah.
I don't hear anything. If there's anyone here, could you please make yourself known? If there's any astrals want to talk to us, please make yourself known. If there's anyone here, could you please make yourself known? If there's any astrals want to talk to us, please make yourself known.
At the time, it may have looked as though no one was outside this ground floor window, but Kieran's thermal imaging camera may well prove otherwise. In separate parts of the house at almost identical moments in time, both Stuart and I were convinced that we'd seen distinct movement outside. So who or what are these figures that the thermal imaging camera caught moving outside the bower room's ground floor window?
Do you know what I heard? It sounded like, I know it was, it sounded like a gust of wind, but a really strong gust of wind. But I've just looked at the trees and everything out there, and there's nothing. There's no movement. There's nothing.
I heard that. If there's anyone here, could you please make yourself known? If there's any astrals want to talk to us, please make yourself known.
And although Kieran reported no obvious movement of the glasses in the green room, other phenomena that was reported astounded many other members of this investigative team. So in a house still ingrained with both religious belief and bigotry, had the astrals within Smithills Hall felt betrayed by our investigation, methods that some had employed to make contact.
Come on, show yourself, do something. We don't care.
The results from the Most Haunted team's investigation of Smithills Hall was fantastic. The unusual thing about the phenomena that was captured was that it didn't tie in with previous phenomena reported by eyewitnesses.
Right from when we were doing the walk rounds earlier, I didn't like it, and I have to say things did sort of get going a little bit up there. Rachel actually saw some form of dark shadow.
Come up with it because we rushed apart. I just saw a shadow going down there.
Where?
Down there.
You didn't.
Down there.
What's down here?
We're back, that's our way back.
Door slamming seemed to be the feature of Smithills Hall.
Let's just stay here for now.
Oh my God!
What's closed now? I can't see.
This door.
Shit.
In the upper derelict rooms, on one of the vigils, Rachel actually reported one of the doors slamming, and much to her and the other members of the team's credit, they actually attempted to look for a natural explanation, but couldn't find one.
Why would it suddenly slam like that? It wouldn't slam like that.
Well, let's just...
Doesn't Richard? You have to push it.
There's no doubt in my mind, or in all three of our minds, there was most definitely something up there. So how on earth Stuart went back on his own, I just don't know. I certainly wouldn't have done it. And again, things kicked off for him.
I don't know what that was now. I've just heard a footstep. Hello? Is anyone there? This isn't the time now to be panicking, because if I do, I don't know where to run.
We can discount lots of other natural explanations. For example, we know that it wasn't a draft causing the door to slam. We know that it wasn't perhaps a dodgy floorboard, and if somebody were to walk on that particular floorboard, it could cause the door to close. So we can discount these particular explanations, but we cannot 100% discount the possibility that somebody may have closed it from the other side. However, it's an intriguing phenomena, and one that people on both vigils were scared by.
Had a home that seemingly survived on its strong beliefs really slammed the door on our investigation? For now, Smithills Hall remains devout in its belief and defiant to those that choose to delve beyond its front door. Until next time, sleep tight.